customer's house who's given us the opportunity to really dig into some of our water saving products, some products that help you with your rain harvesting, with your municipal backup. It's the products that you guys have been asking for the past few weeks. And we're very fortunate today to be joined by a very experienced professional in the systems that we'll be looking at today. He'll be giving us some amazing tips and tricks, and of course, as you always remember guys, products are going to be showing on your left hand side, so please add them to cart, but don't check out just yet because you're going to miss out on some amazing tips and tricks. So let's go over and let's introduce ourselves over here. So obviously this is who's going to be joining us today, guys. This is Jeremy.
Hi everybody.
Jeremy will be giving us some important tips and tricks that we'll be looking at today. Jeremy, like obviously, can you give us a bit of a background on yourself for our customers out there?
As you know, my name is Jeremy. I'm one of the sales consultants that's obviously a consulting for Jojo tanks, and I'm here with fantastic Dominique. We're going to talk a lot more about all the installations she's mentioned early on. We're going to talk about all of the accessories, and we're going to talk about the setups and what consists, what ties with what. Okay, so stay tuned. Be sure we're going to go into our first setup, Dominique, and I don't know what is it you want to cover.
I think our first one is the one right behind us over here. So should we take a walk over there and have a look at this over here? I mean, I was very intrigued by this system. Maybe you could take us through how it works, what is it currently being used for, and just give our customers some ideas behind how they could maybe utilize this in their own homes today.
Okay, so basically guys, this is obviously a typical rain harvesting setup. It's got various sort of components that goes with it, but obviously due to the space that we have right now is that it's coupled just by the roof area that is underneath this beautiful veranda that we have right here. So as you can see, point of entry is obviously up top in that corner, which is coming down from the veranda, feeding into this first Jojo tank. But these two Jojo tanks is actually coupled, Dominique.
Oh.
So they are coupled together. So you could use one tank that's actually going to get the feed, but you can then couple them so that the feed fills up both tanks simultaneously.
Wow, that's awesome.
Okay, so that's basically what we got here. And is there anything else you'd like to cover?
What is the size of this tank that we've got here?
So basically this is our 1,000 liter Jojo slimline tank, and you're looking at our stormy sky color. So 1,000 liter Jojo stormy sky color.
Great.
Okay.
That's awesome. And obviously, given the size of this, so you call it a slimline, is that because it's for more compact space, or is that where you guys would suggest it's used?
So basically, Dominic, on the slimline range is obviously urbanized. We know in urban areas, space is very limited. And that's one thing we also have to take in consideration, is that people want to have rain harvesting setups, but they don't have the space to do it. Wow. So the Jojo slimline range came in specifically due to urbanized space saving. But as well, it looks fantastic in your own home.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I really love, guys, how if you see this coloring, everything, it could fit in with your background in your outside of your house. It doesn't stand out. It's not too much of a focus. As you can see, it's been set up here on a veranda where you would entertain your guests, and it's just slides right into the background, which I think is a great offer for urban areas.
That's correct. That's correct.
You want to multi-use your areas. This is doing a purpose, serving a very useful purpose, and it also looks great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's tying down with the whole veranda and the color of the veranda, because you can see the gray is going in with the stormy gray. But also it's another way while you're sitting on this beautiful veranda and bragging about your rain harvesting setup to your guests as well.
Yeah, making everyone jealous you have water. So obviously, just to understand from a more less technical for my side anyway, so this is like a gutter system that's feeding it into the tank. Is that correct?
Correct. That's correct. So,
all
yeah.
right. Are these accessories you need to purchase additionally, obviously?
Most accessories, Dominic, has to be purchased, unfortunately, additionally. You could be obviously using your slimline directly into your gutter, which obviously your rain can feed directly into it, because it does get supplied with an added accessory, which is a Jojo filter screen. Okay, so we have a Jojo filter screen that's generally fitted underneath the lid for you already. So if you're somebody who wants to just adapt this tank directly under your gutter system, you have something still to protect you with different leaves and particles that would come off the roof that's obviously going to assist with that as well.
Okay, great. That's good to know. What is this being used for currently in this home, this water here?
So currently this rain harvesting installation is obviously a backup for the beautiful pool. I know you'll see it in the background and you'll see in the view. Yes, we know that. But this backup system is purely to keep this pool beautifully topped up, beautifully blue as well, because remember, rain is not that bad. It's just obviously what contaminants you're putting in. That's why we've got that filter screen. Remember that filter screen. So basically the slim lines is actually topping up that pool on a monthly basis. That's during wet season and during the dry season, still to keep that pool going and topped up and nice and blue.
So great. So that obviously means like wet season, meaning that when we get a lot of rain and that sort of thing. So in other words, it's keeping it topped up during the rain. But then when we have a lot less rain, this is a great way to save water in general, because we're not relying on pulling it from Municipal or from, you know, your taps. So I think it's a great way to, in general, make a positive impact on your environment.
That's great. Obviously, we know that the environment comes in a lot of factors. We know, obviously, municipalities are strained. We know, obviously, there's going to be a water shortage at times because of municipal infrastructure that could cause issues, especially with outage of water. But if you're looking at typically putting a rain harvesting setup, it's not just topping up your pool, it's doing a lot more other things like into your garden or utilizing back into your household. Remember, somehow you need backup water. When you don't have water, look at the Jojo Slimline installation.
Amazing. Okay, and then obviously this one is connected. Should we have a look at that one over there?
Yes, we can come through this way as well. So Dominic, obviously we have the two slim lines. And then we've got a 5,000 liter Jojo tank as well, because we try to look at on this roof area, you know that somehow you're not going to have enough water coverage. Only for the two slim lines is going to be too much. So you can obviously add on. That's why we've got the two slim lines that's coupled together, but we've also added a 5,000 liter just in case we need a bit more. We want to catch as much water as possible, because remember, rain don't come every day, everybody. Rain comes when it wants to come. It's Mother Nature. So when Mother Nature gives it to you for free, take it for free. So that's why basically we have two slim lines, we have a 5,000 liter. The whole system, Dominic, is coupled together, which obviously has got a good outlet system with the piping, that's got a valve system, a gardenia fitting for the outlet, and obviously that just needs a hose pipe to get clipped on to actually feed your garden, to actually feed your pool, and depending what else you want to use it in your household as well.
Okay, so obviously like these are all accessories you buy on to make it practical now, so that as a customer you would need to remember that in order for you to take the water out, you got to remember you got to get a pipe system that goes through.
Correct.
And obviously I've heard that there's things like pumps to help you get this out, but you guys mentioned previously that this is not necessarily needing a pump here?
No, not necessarily. So we're doing a gravity feed system here. And I mean, obviously with the size tanks that we have, especially on the 5,000, it is strong enough that it can gravity feed through your hose pipeline. Obviously you can adapt the pump system onto your rain harvesting setup. That's obviously totally for you where all you want to use your rainwater. Depending on distance and depending if you need a lot more pressure, then you would obviously add a pump system onto that. But I think we'll cover it a bit more later.
Okay, great. So yeah, we'll look at a few later with actual pumps where it's necessary. But right now, the gravitational pull, I mean, that's a whole other thing that you could be using. Is it something as well? I've heard before, don't shoot the messenger, but sometimes you can install some of your tanks above, so that it then pulls the water like gravitationally down. I don't know if that's also an option.
No, that's correct. Obviously you can. So I mean, before, if you look at it, you could take a Jojo tank and obviously elevate it a bit. But elevation also does go with the amount of pressure that you would need. So if you're looking in an area where, I mean, electricity is a problem, you cannot put a pump system on and you want to fully gravitate, then we got to look at height and the pressure you would need. So if you're using this water into your household and you need the pressure, we say every 10 meters you get a bar of pressure.
Oh wow.
So every 10 meters you go up with your tank on a stand, or obviously it's a base that you are building, you're getting 1 liter. So that one bar of pressure actually. So 10 meters, 1 bar. Then we look at it, 20 meters, 2 bar, 30 meters, 3 bar. But Dominic, we're in an urban area. I'm sure we cannot put a tank 30 meters in the air to get the power pressure. So that's why we're kind of using the gravity feed here. And that pool is good enough, obviously, just to run off into your garden, into your pool area, which is not far from the tanks as well. And you'll have proper coverage.
So it's not necessarily like you need a pump on every single one, because some you're doing it for garden, you don't necessarily need that pressure, but you do need pressure when you're using it maybe for showering, that sort of thing, which we'll cover on the other side of the house.
That's correct, Dominic. That's exactly what we're looking into right now.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic information. Should we move to our next spot? So obviously I think our next section is going to be at the bottom there. So
yeah, I think we're going to talk a bit more about obviously the rain harvesting and the accessories that goes with the rain harvesting.
Okay, great.
So we're going to go more in detail about the accessories that works for you to actually handle this rain harvesting a bit better.
Okay, great. Remember guys, the products are showing on your left hand side of the screen. Sorry about that.
No problem.
On the left hand side of your screen, remember you can add to cart, but don't check out just yet. We're about to tuck into a very interesting setup now, where we're going to find out a lot about just the sheer longevity of these systems and how they can really build into your lives and just give you great benefits. So let's head that direction.
Perfect. Let's move on. Having a great time, baby. After you.
Thank you so much, Jim. So in terms of installations and stuff, how often do you guys lately have you been installing and adding these into people's homes?
Well, Dominic, honestly, it would depend, because with installations you got recommended installers that's obviously going to handle installation for you.
Okay.
So it all breaks down and boils down to your home, your setup, your tank placement. It also falls into perspective of what all I'm going to do there. Can this tank fit there? Can this tank work? Oh, can I put a bigger tank? Oh, can we add on? So you have to look into all of that. But we do have recommended installers on our website, which you can visit the Jojo website, jojo.co.za. And we've got recommended installers that's there. Obviously, you can call out and they can also give you a bit more advice, especially on rain harvesting on your home.
Okay, great. Okay, let's look at this one over here. So, I mean, obviously this is also a rain harvesting system, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. And basically from what I can see, like, and what we were discussing earlier, it's just a great system for, again, utilizing what already falls onto the roof. So for this type of home, how much roof space, I can't remember the exact number, can you? How much area this actually is?
I think from my understanding it's a 100 square meter roof. That's obviously having catchment that's coming down here. So we're looking at 100 square meters on this roof area, and that's obviously getting poured down into a Jojo and then a further backup system that they've got as well in this household, which is a further 2 5,000 liter tanks as well.
Okay, and I remember just like casual stats that I can remember now is that basically on this roof it's about 60,000 liters that can be harvested just from rainwater alone around there. And basically, like, if we think about that, that's just water that was coming on and not being utilized. I mean, there's things that you have to take into consideration, like we were talking about loss, like as in water shedding or splashing, as well as the fact that there's evaporation, guys, after something's hot. But at the end of the day, this rain harvesting can be put in so you can take advantage of what you're getting. Like you said, from Mother Nature, she's giving it to us.
There you go.
So this helps us clear it. So
exactly.
Can you take us through some of the components here and how it works?
Okay, no problem, Dom. So basically on a typical rain harvesting setup is obviously what we call a rain head. A rain head is obviously the product that handles all the bigger particles that actually falls from your roof area. So we know on roof area there's stones, twigs, there could be stones, there's a lot of stuff that's also on your roof that you don't see. Your rain head is obviously a system that takes care of that. As you can see at this household, we've already shown you some of the leaf particles that's there from previous rain that exactly happened, but it's a self-maintaining system.
So just to understand, so this is like basically the water has come down from the gutter system and landed itself inside that attachment, and that attachment's got like a filter to stop any big debris.
That's correct.
Like,
That's correct. So it's got a filter mesh that sits on top of it here. Obviously for any big debris that has to be there, which is getting trapped, and then your water is entering what we call a first flush diverter. I'm not sure if you know what's a first flush diverter.
No, I don't.
So basically your first flush diverter is taking your first dirty sandy water from your rain and diverting it before throwing it into your existing Jojo tank.
Oh, wow.
So you obviously want to keep the water as clean as possible as entering your Jojo, but it does help with the maintenance as well. So when you look at putting a rain harvesting system with your first flush, you're not putting all the dirty sandy water to be building up in your Jojo for obviously maintenance issues as well. Along the way, you got to look into that. Whether you're having a pump system onto it, you still have to take into account as well if you're just throwing all of that dirt that could pass through and also damage your pump system as well.
Oh, wow.
So that's why this is obviously your typical rain harvesting setup. Rain head, first flush diverter. Your first flush diverter is actually made up of components in the kit. So in the kit you get a T-piece, you get what we call a valve at the bottom, and then these components, as you see, is obviously existing plumbing PVC piping. You've got 110 mil PVC pipe that makes up your first flush. We say at least 1 meter to 1.5 meters that you cut your pipe. So we base it on that. That will give you enough collection of the dirty sandy water before obviously you've got more cleaner rainwater that's going into your tank. So when we look at how the system runs, is obviously your rain is entering your rain head, which is doing all the bigger particles for you. Your dirty sandy water is then entering your first flush, which then fills up. Into the first flush system, we've got a small valve system. And the valve system in there is that the water pressure will push it close. That gives you your first diversion. And then you've got, as your rainfall carries on, you've got cleaner rainwater running towards your Jojo tank.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And do you need to open that up to clear it out at some point?
That's correct. So you could open it up, or you could still use it somewhere in the garden system. Remember, the water is not fully bad. It's just dirty and sandy. It could have a drip out system where you can have a small piping to a drain if you don't want to utilize it, or you can just flush it out.
Okay, so you could even reuse this water as grey water,
You
basically.
can still use it as dirty water, but it's still water. It's just a bit sandy with particles that you didn't want to put in your Jojo.
Yeah, okay, great. And then obviously it comes out, the good water comes in, the slightly cleaner water comes in here, and then it fills up into this system here. This is now, if I remember right, you guys said this is the older Jojo tank.
This is an older system. This is an older Jojo tank, and I mean, we're talking this tank is standing for 15 years, Dominic. So if you're really looking at it, that Jojo can obviously sustain your investment for a long period of years.
I mean, we're talking about longevity here in product.
There we go.
Like something that can really, it doesn't need to be replaced very often, from what we can see anyway. That's amazing.
Yeah, so basically that's your rain harvesting setup. And obviously rainwater entering to this tank, and then they're utilizing the backup here that's pumping up to bigger storage. Because if we're looking at 100 square meters of roof, that's a lot of rain that's coming down.
Okay, yes, so we want to try and store as much of that as possible
to
make sure we've got that always in case of anything, in case of drought, or in case you're not going to have the water.
Or you're having your municipal outages. Okay. We wouldn't go further into that.
Yeah, true, very true, very real for us South Africans nowadays, guys. Like water shortage is going to become a big thing, water outages. This over here, so this is this now the pump system that's standing over here?
Yeah, so there's just a small pump casing into that. I'm not sure if you want to touch more on it. We could talk basically on it. So we've got a pump system that's there. It's just a basic centrifugal pump that's on there. I mean, obviously the piping that leads to the pump, and this pump obviously pumps to the backup system, the 5,000 liter tank.
Centrifugal mean?
So centrifugal pump is obviously the type of impeller into the pump. Okay. There is various other types, but I think we'll cover it more on the municipal backup system. But centrifugal is obviously more of a bigger impeller system that's actually giving you more flow and volume of water.
Okay, so that helps you, and obviously in this case it helps us feed it to where it's going to the 5,000 to 5,000
liter tank. Yes, that's up top with the back of the yard. Yes.
So I mean, it's got to go up into it. So you need something that's got a lot of pressure.
Something with a lot of force as well to give you the volume of water, so you can fill those Jojos while the rain is falling.
I mean, I think obviously, I mean, Mr. Cameraman, you can just show like basically this is at the kind of driveway of the house, and it's got to go up. So obviously we have all of these pump systems, etc., and obviously when you guys are doing the installation, you see what you have to work with, and then you advise from there what is necessary to get it where we need it. Okay, great. Well, I think that covers quite a decent amount of this product. Should we move to the next one? Can we go this way around? Remember that the products are showing on your left hand side, guys. And don't forget to add to cart, but don't check out just yet. We've still got some more amazing products to have a look at, and some amazing tips on how you can actually make sure that your home is backed up, that you've actually got water, and that especially now with the water outages and the stories we're hearing, it's definitely going to become a main focus for us South Africans. There you go. Great. Yeah. There you go. Okay, cool. So this brings us around now to this tank over here. Again, the size of this one?
This one is a 750 liter slimline Jojo. As well, stormy grey color. Obviously to blend in with the other tanks that's been installed. But obviously this is our 750 liter slimline tank.
Okay, great. And this one's use for the house, what is it being utilized for?
So this is probably just a typical municipal backup system. So a typical municipal backup is obviously consisting of you diverting your municipal water, which is still feeding your household, but obviously you are backing it up for that emergency use. So remember guys, we spoke about water outages, we spoke about where you could have drought systems as well, or we could have problems in the municipalities where there's water outages. You want to do a municipal backup system, it obviously you still have water to use when you have those troubling times. So that's why we have a municipal backup system here.
So this one is storing for us 750 liters of water, and in case for a day or two you don't have water for whatever reason, or a few hours, you've always got this here feeding into your home.
That's correct.
And that's what that's doing.
Correct, yes.
Okay, great. And then obviously this now is going into our house. Where would this water be feeding into specifically?
So Dominic, you could obviously feed this fully back into your household. So this system could go fully back into your household, but obviously maybe you just want to utilize it into specific areas in your household. So you just want to use it only for toilets. So basically you want to be having a flushable toilet when we have outages, or there's also specific tap that it will actually pump into, which you could couple other systems on as well when we spoke about filtration.
Yes.
You could also add this water to go there. But this is basically just a system going back into house when there is an outage that it is needed.
Okay.
So it just depends on your area. You might also have a region where your water is out for longer periods. So you would not look at like a 750.
You might want bigger.
1,000 liter, or you could have it as a double. So like we've got a rain harvesting, you could obviously couple it and have more capacity, because you just never know also with the outage how long it's going to be as well. So you need to see. So when we base this, we look at obviously the people in your household, and we say on average you need 100 liters of water to survive. So that's everything from bathing, cooking, whatever you may do for you to survive, if there is no water in existence. And that's what an average person will need. So you take your household by the amount of people that's in it, and then you multiply that 100 liters. And then you look at obviously your outages we have. So you say 2 or 3 days, and you multiply that. That would give you more of an indication as well on what type or size tank you would need to help you if you're in outage for 3 or 4 days, depending on how it goes. So that's just more of a breakdown of exactly how your backup system would need when you're deciding what tank should I put in the house.
You should put into it. That's incredible. I mean, obviously, such a valuable explanation. And I mean, I remember we were talking inside earlier and finding out that like an average household who's running maybe this one 2 bathrooms is flushing their toilet like 3 times a day. And 2 toilets, you know, that's about 100 liters that's going, and it's actually just flushing. So if you think about it, like it's a very real need, and a lot of us are not used to being too, I mean, except for those of you in Cape Town who are very used to conserving your water. In Joburg, it's not really something that we've been too focused on, but it's becoming more and more conversation. And in this case, like it's great for you to know that you have something that can keep you going when there's no water coming through.
That's true, Dom. That's true. So. Typical municipal backup. We'll talk more of the components here as well. I mean, obviously, every setup has components we want to speak about. This is obviously a municipal backup, and it's got a typical DIY installation. Works perfectly here because of the space and because what you need to be putting in. It's got a float valve that's obviously inside here as well. It's a float kit system, so it's almost, if I put it down more and explain it, you kind of look how your toilet system works. When it's full, shuts off. When it gets empty, it's got a release squeeze to fill up. So float valve, when the tank is obviously dropping to a certain level, it will open up, it will fill your tank, your municipal will fill your tank. When it's full, it will shut off. Okay. And then what's obviously coupled here is what we call a pump to tank connector kit. I'm going to just take this pump cover off, but we'll talk about it more, Dom, as well. We'll just keep it one side. This is obviously a pump to tank connector kit. So we give you a kit that's seamless DIY that you can just couple from your tank to your pump system.
Oh wow.
Okay. Basic, quick, instant coupling system. And then what we've got here is obviously one of our variable speed drive pumps. It's a 0.75, I think 0.79 installed, yes. VSD pumps. And a variable speed drive pump is obviously one of our energy efficient pumps.
Oh, is it?
So we've got a range of different pumps. We start from 0.37 booster. We've got 0.75 centrifugal.
Okay.
We've also got a 55 centrifugal we brought in as well. And then we go to our 0.75 variable speed drive. And then we've also got a 1.5 variable speed drive pump as well.
Wow. And you said it's energy efficient?
Energy efficient.
So in what way is this more energy efficient, or would you say, is it that it can connect with solar, or like, you know, obviously reality here is now I don't have water, but I also might not have power.
That's true.
So how do I back up my power? You know, so
look, with the VSD, the energy efficiency is not obviously direct solar.
Okay.
So you wouldn't do direct solar, but we find that now with a lot of the load shedding that's happening and with backup installations, especially people putting battery backup systems and solar panels, your variable speed drive does not need a lot of power to start up.
Oh, that's
so
great.
obviously someone who's got a backup system, now you've got solar, you've got load shedding in place, and you've got a water outage, but you're also afraid you don't want to kill your battery backup that you've got.
Yes.
So a variable speed drive is obviously there not to kill your battery backup that you've also preserved from Mother Nature, the sun, which is for free every day. And that's obviously what a variable speed drive is there for. So that's basically what the energy efficiency is about, is that the pump needs minimal power to operate. And with the variable speed drive is obviously that it's got a variable speed as you use it. So when you opening up your tap in your household, utilizing this water, if it's just a tap, you're not going to use the full capacity power of this pump. It's only going to give you what you need until you carry on using more outages. This pump will then pick up its speed to how you need it.
Okay, great.
Just another thing I want to cover as well, Dom, because we saw we're taking it off. This is our Jojo pump cover as well. And remember, pump covers is there because you want to protect your investments as well. Variable speed drive pumps, they're not a cheap product as well. They're very nice, they work well, but when it comes to obviously your waterproofing rating, remember it's not that strong. So you need something just to cover up your board components, your electrical components. So we say just put a Jojo pump cover. It's going to protect your pump in the long run from sun and everything else, but as well, in case something else may happen, an accident, you have a Jojo pump cover to obviously assist in protecting your pump.
And obviously I see as well it's got a base plate, or like it's been raised, it's basically lifted up as well, so that's also obviously quite important.
It's an added accessory if you want to. I mean, there's obviously more with people looking to, if you have an area that got slight bit of flooding, you could have a rainy area where there's a lot of rainfall, and the area you have, the water doesn't run off fast. So it's an added accessory you could add to elevate your pump, because obviously you have a pump cover, but a pump cover is not going to stop the water from building up. It's protecting from the outside of everything else, but that's your elevation that will help. It also keeps it more sturdy, but we do have mounting points on our pumps. So we have a base where you're ready. If you don't want to elevate it, we've already got mounting points on the sides of the pump, which will allow you to mount it down. If you want to probably use a wood block, or you want to use something steel, if something else that's rigid you want to use, you could obviously mount this pump down.
And then from an installation point of view as well, is I remember that something that you need to remember is that obviously this is great because this is a brick flooring.
Correct.
But if you've got grass or garden, you do need to remember that you've got to also do like a square for it to stand on, right?
That's correct. So we talk of a concrete plinth. So what happens is that if you don't have area that's solid and level, where obviously your tank wouldn't stand, because we need to take into account that the Jojo tank needs to be on a solid level surface. We don't want the Jojo tank leaning on itself. I mean, if you look at the weight that's what the capacity takes, and it starts going. So we say building a plinth, a concrete plinth, on area that is not solid for you. We say 80 mils high. a good concrete plant, but it needs to be at least 100 mil extra than the diameter of your tank. Okay, so because we don't also want the overhang, there's been a lot of problems when you have the overhang of your placement of your tank, is that it still has a lip to fall over. So you don't want it. You want sufficient area coverage for your tank to be placed on.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's a great tip right there, guys. Obviously, if your installer is installing, remember to ask this. Remember, the products are showing on your left-hand side. You can add them to cart, but don't check out just yet. We've got one more thing that we want to show you guys, and obviously, this is a very relevant issue in South Africa at the moment, and for all of us citizens at the moment. So the one thing that I want us to touch on is just this amazing filtering system that has been put in here. We've got two products that we're going to look at, guys. So the one product is going to be obviously an under-counter filtering system that Jeremy will touch on for us, and then we've also got an over-counter for those of you who are like me, live in an apartment or you're renting, so you can't really make any big plumbing changes to where you're staying. So will you walk us through, please?
Sure, no problem, Tom. So basically, this is the under-counter system, obviously. We supply it with obviously a tap that comes for you already. So remember, all our filtering and all our products that we supply is actually fully there for you to fit the system. You don't need to buy anything extra. There's no nitty-gritty that you have to worry about. The basic thing only with the under sink is that you need a bit of DIY knowledge. That's the only thing with the under sink filter. But I'm going to run through you quickly what it does. So obviously we've got a tap. It's a very nice, small, thin faucet tap that we supply you with. We do give you the piping that you need, obviously, to connect this unit. And we give you the accessories that you need to be splitting your system from your municipal line that's coming in to the system of the filtration unit. Okay, so Dom, this is a two-stage filtration system. Okay, and two-stage, what we mean is that we've got our first stage, which is a PP sediment filter, and our second stage is our new disruptive technology. Okay, and our new disruptive technology is technology that's been put onto market and is beating any other filter on the market.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
It's removing more contaminants than any other filter you could think on the market right now.
Oh great.
Okay, it's a 3-in-1 filter. Okay, number one, it works with electro-absorption functionality. Number two, it's got antimicrobial silver, and number three, it's powder activated carbon. So you've got a filter media that's doing 3 things in one for you. So you can just imagine how good of a filter system you're putting in.
100%. And guys, just on that, like as well, which is I think so interesting that I didn't know this. Like obviously, I'm sure for everyone else there you did, but welcome me to the party late. But basically, you know, we purchase our water. We've got little 25-liter tanks and stuff for home, and we go to Oasis and we fill it up and all of that. But actually finding out that it goes through a process that removes the nutrients from your water, and obviously these systems are not doing that. Is that correct?
That's correct, Dom. So basically with your disruptive media, it's obviously you have the good and you have the bad in water. Okay, and the good is obviously what we need for ourselves. There's minerals, there's ions, there's oxygen that we need from water for our bodies. And the disruptive media is obviously what we call more of an electrocharge that will give off when it gets wet, right? And whatever's negative, it's going to attract to it. But with the antimicrobial silver inside, you've got protection also on your filter media. So all the contaminants is getting trapped is obviously getting now killed off with the antimicrobial silver. So in case your filter is clogged up and you might have a small biological contaminant pass through, you know the antimicrobial silver has already taken it away for you. It's not harmful, it's not going to harm your body in any way.
Okay, so it's still done the job for you, so even if it sneaks through, it's still like you're still safer. So this is a great option. One thing to remember with these products is that you need to replace your filters regularly. What would you suggest? How often should you replace your filter? So
Dom, on the under counter, it's obviously, we say every 3,000 liters water it will give you, depending on the water that's obviously it's filtering, how bad is it. It might be less, but we say every 6 months as well that you would replace it. What this client has done very fantastic is that they did specific markings on the filter media when they put it in. So obviously it does give them a time breakdown, and we do say when your filters do get clogged, you will see the flow of water would get reduced because of the cloggages that's building up. But that's a nifty trick. So you could do something like that. put yourself on there with your date, and obviously
Yeah,
that's
you
how you
could schedule it for yourself, which is amazing. Okay, then let's look at the other option.
yes, let's
is
look at the other
our
option,
oven.
but we'll keep it here, Dom, as well. This is
Okay.
our countertop unit. So basically, countertop and under sink is the same system. It's just two different installations.
Okay.
So when we're looking at your countertop and under sink, stop two stage. This one at least gives you a faucet already adapted to it.
Okay.
And then it will be connected with your existing zinc or tap mixer in your
okay.
household.
Oh, okay.
And we give you all accessories as well in the box to fit it with your zinc or tap accessory, because there is a lot of times taps that's obviously international based. It's
Yes.
not from here. It doesn't work the same.
Oh.
There's also an adapter for you. It will assist you.
That's amazing.
Can we just get an adapter?
Yeah,
You don't
yeah,
mind?
yeah,
No,
sure,
let me just
sure.
get an adapter quickly for you.
We're
I
just
just
gonna
wanna-
grab a
just
product
wanna
now
show you what
quickly.
it looks like. Yeah.
We're gonna grab a product quickly. Remember the products are showing on the left-hand side of the screen, guys, and please just remember to add to cart. As we're grabbing this adapter now, we're just gonna have a look at it, and then we'll. Oh, there we go. Cool.
There we go.
We'll
That's
carry
it. So basically, that's obviously adapter we're talking about. It comes fitted in your filter media, and obviously the piping, the black piping you've seen with your under sink.
Yeah, yeah.
That's obviously the piping that gets with it. So what happens with this accessory is that it gets adapted to your existing mixer.
Oh wow.
Okay, so you would then take your aerator off.
Yes.
You would then adapt this fitting onto your aerator. And like I said, if the tap is not from here, there's an adapter that will go in here to allow you. Because sometimes you get your thread that's not on the outside,
Oh,
it's on the inside.
Okay.
And your
Okay.
adapter is obviously there to assist you.
That's great.
Then you got this adapter that fits onto here, which what your piping then feeds to your
To there.
to your
And
countertop
then this
filter
does
media.
the same thing that the under does with the two-step like filtering.
Two-stage,
that's
correct.
been done. Okay,
That's
great.
correct.
Great.
So obviously still two stage. We try and say obviously keep it close to your zinc as well, because remember you've got a spout that obviously fills by itself, and basically utilizing this is with your adapter on it, it's more of a filter media, so you gotta just do more of a manual. Where this one comes with a tap, you just open your tap. This one is more manually operated.
Yes.
So when you want to utilize it, Tom, it's basically that flow of water. So if I want to use my tap, I'm using my tap.
Okay.
If I want filtered water, I would then switch my
So if you're
adapter,
washing your
and I would have
dishes-
my glass underneath,
Okay.
and I would get my water from it, and then
Okay.
filter it out as normal.
So it
using my zinc.
diverts the water through the filter if you want
That's
to drink
correct.
from it. But if you want to wash your dishes, you can use.
You
the-
can still
the
use
other
it as
side.
normal.
Okay, great.
And that's what the accessory is there for.
Okay.
But also, like we mentioned, it's temporary as well. It's not a permanent fixture. So if you're camping, if you're somebody who's renting and you don't stay at Peters for a long time, you know that all you need to do is take off your adapter from your existing tap, which is that, and you take your
Take it
unit,
with you.
and your unit goes
That's
with you.
amazing. That's amazing, and that can literally travel with you anywhere.
Basically, lightweight, not heavy. You don't have to worry about weight at all. Tom.
That's amazing. Same thing with the 6-month replacement.
Same exactly concept, 3,000 liters of water, or every 6 months you replace. But remember that nifty trick.
Yes.
If you want to, you can mark your filter media of when it's been installed and when you're changing it continuously with your date.
That's amazing. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us for another session. Thank you so much, Jeremy, for your insights
Small
and info.
pleasure, Tom.
It was a great session.
You've been
And
good.
guys, remember, like Jeremy said, we're going to coin the phrase, Mother Nature is here. Mother Nature can give us some things. So let's try use her. Let's try take what we can and not waste, and just try and be better citizens overall. So thank you.
Okay.